I'm addicted to YouTube. I'll spend hours every day watching stuff on this platform. It's on when I'm lounging, it's on when I'm cooking, it's on when I'm eating, hell, it's even on when I'm sleeping. With that in mind, I don't think you can spend any major period of time on here without at least a passing knowledge of Shane Dawson. The man has at least 20 million subscribers and billions of views on his videos. He's synonymous with YouTube and has been for over the past decade. However, after a series of offensive videos and social media blunders,
I'm losing my mind. This is so fucked!
He's received an overwhelming backlash about his content, and as of recording, Shane has not been active on his channel since June of 2020. It's not this aspect of Shane's career I want to get into. Quite frankly, I don't want to discuss his problematic past in any great detail, as I wouldn't be able to do it justice. No, I want to discuss his 2014 film, Not Cool. God, he can't even put the title card up without making it feel crass and uncomfortable. Adapted from a screenplay by Dan Schofer, the film revolves around Scott and Tori, played by Shane Dawson and Cherami Lee, respectively. As they return home for Thanksgiving after their first semester at college, the two meet after a car accident and begin a romantic relationship. And pandemonium ensues? Yeah, it's hard to formulate a cohesive plot synopsis, as there's so much shit going on around it.
This is shit up in here!
What I mean by this is that the film doesn't feel like a film, as it doesn't present itself as one. It's a series of unfunny and offensive gags with elements of story sprinkled in here and there. Characters are not characters, they're caricatures of racist, sexist and ableist stereotypes. This all sounds a bit vague when I'm describing it, I know, but it's hard to convey how perplexing this is, as the film can't go 2 minutes without having a joke, and I'm saying joke with the biggest air quotes, that offends and just makes the viewer feel bad. The best way to present this to you is by looking at a scene towards the end of the film, where Heather, Scott's ex-girlfriend, attempts to sexually assault him before Tori walks in on them. This results in him and Tori arguing.
She raped me!
Yeah, it's not something that's nice to watch, and it makes me feel uncomfortable. With this scene, Shane Dawson is able to trivialise sexual assault on a number of levels. He uses this problematic action that countless people may find traumatising as a punchline to his uncomfortable joke, and it's glossed over in the narrative like it was nothing. Rape is such a powerful subject in society that you need a discussion of this action if you are going to depict it in your film, as it has caused so much harm to so many people. Sexual assault is something that can affect people for years, and often when shown, it becomes a major element of the film it's in. But in this, it's only mentioned in this sequence, and one line brings it up later on, which leaves you questioning the motives of Shane as a filmmaker. Was this done just to hurt people? This theme of the filmmakers pointing their fingers and laughing at awful situations isn't just isolated to this scene. There is a whole subplot between Scott's sister Janie and Joel, who is attempting to have sex with her. This aspect of the narrative feels just as uncomfortable to watch, as Joel continually pursues her after she has told him on multiple occasions that she does not like him in that way. This part of the film feels just as troubling to watch as the aforementioned scene, because it clearly veers into the realm of harassment from Joel. But he, and also Shane as a filmmaker, cannot see the problem. Their story ends with Janie mistakenly kissing him, and she has to apologise to him. It's baffling, and I'm sure it's distressing to viewers who have been in situations similar to this. Elements of the film do actually come close to creating an emotional connection to these characters, but it misses the mark heavily. Take for instance this scene.
Never heard you talk about your mom before. It was cancer, right?
No, actually she was a Sagittarius. What's your mom? Yeah, she passed away a few years ago.
It could have added some depth to Scott, but it is glossed over, and then you have this scene as well.
The depth of your selfishness is astonishing. How dare you come to me for advice? You know how many times I've tried talking to you, but you were too busy for me? Too busy with your hair, your photography, or Heather, whatever bullshit was consuming you at the time?
These could have worked together if thought and attention were given to these characters. Janie's problem with Scott could have stemmed from him not being there for her after their mother passed, and she could have grown resentment for him through his distance. However, her problem with him in the film stems from his hair, and how much he cares about that over other people. In a vacuum, these scenes work together, but as a part of this mess, they don't. There are multiple scenes before this fight where Janie and Scott are together and you don't feel any sense of their animosity towards one another. This makes our anger towards him feel unjust, as it comes from out of nowhere. Before I conclude talking about Not Cool, I want to mention The Chair, and how good Hollidaysburg is in relation to this. So, The Chair was a television series that saw two first-time directors, Shane and Anna Martinucci, adapt the same script and have the final say on the cut of their movie. The two films would compete against one another, where an audience vote would be conducted to decide the winner. And the winner was... Shane. Of course it was Shane. It felt like such a shame, as with Hollidaysburg, Anna crafted a film that felt genuine and sincere. Although it felt like more of a drama than a comedy, it was a lot funnier than Not Cool. The characters were well defined and had clear motivations. They reacted to serious situations like human beings would, and there were quirks to the characters that felt wholesome and endearing to the viewer, and not at the expense of anyone's faith or appearance. Both films follow the same narrative structure. Both films share the same lead characters, and both films share weird little characteristics with each other. But at their core, these films could not be more different. I think ultimately that comes down to who Shane and Anna are as people and where they want to go with their careers. What Anna was trying to make was as well a crafted film as she could with the budget and the story that she had. What I think Shane was trying to make was a feature-length YouTube video. In the beginning of The Chair, he stated he wanted to branch into the Hollywood mainstream, but every time he was challenged on a creative decision, he would lash out at the people around him. He didn't want to compromise his vision.
No director has ever taken anything out of a movie to get somebody to audition. I'm angry that we're finding out about this 2 days before we start filming the movie.
As well as that, the whole argument between Janie and Scott revolves around Scott's hair and not the passing of their mother. Scott's, by proxy, Shane's hair, was a massive part of Shane's character and branding at the time, and to make that the emotional crux of the film felt like it was just done to pander to his audience.
Tonight is a night I've been waiting for the whole time because I made this movie for you guys, and you guys are gonna fucking love it.
Maybe if he had listened to the industry professionals around him, he could have made something better than this. I don't want to say it would be good, because I don't know if that would be possible, but it's clear from the backlash that Shane received from this film, and is receiving now, that people don't appreciate his humour. He is a problem for a lot of people, and has been for a while now, but this film feels like one part of a bigger issue. When I watched this film initially, I thought it was low-hanging fruit, and me being a pretty lazy person, I thought it would be easy to make fun of it. I started thinking about all the little jokes I could make about Shane and at the film's expense, but the more I thought about it, the harder it became to shine any sort of positive light on this mess of a film, and I knew I had to take those out. So I apologise if this video feels a bit jumbled in its pacing. In all honesty though, when you step back to look and actually think about what is being presented to you in this film, you can't help but feel bad. And it makes me wonder whether that was Shane's ultimate goal when making this film. In closing, all I can say is, don't watch Not Cool. It's not worth people's time, and it's definitely not worth anyone's money.
The amount of time that I spent watching Shane's film, I will never get back. The fact that $850,000 got put into making something that was so egregiously offensive.
But you should watch Hollidaysburg. It's a good film by talented people. And if you think I should discuss Hollidaysburg more in depth, let me know in the comments. And please, like and subscribe. I know how it feels being asked that from a viewer's perspective, but it genuinely does help. Thanks for watching.